Hello.
Hello, Gladys. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Great. That's great to know. So please, I'm going now to start sharing my screen. I'm going to open the lesson for today and we start. Okay, give me please just 30 seconds before I start sharing everything.
Okay.
All right, now with this one, this is today's lesson. I'm going to turn on my camera. Now, before we can practice, it's important to see if this is clear. Let's keep working to understand. And this is another way, Gladys, to see if you can manage all possible tenses in English, okay, in present, past, future. Tag questions. I don't know if you know something about tag questions, anything that you might know, Gladys. What do you say?
Oh, about tag questions. Um, I don't know what means tag, but just regular questions. I don't know.
Yes, they are a special and a specific type of questions, right? We're going to explain because here the practice is to see if you understand the auxiliaries or what you have to use. For example, this is a tag question. Okay, I'm going to mark the one that you see down below. That short question over there, that is a tag question, right? This is a sentence and this is a tag question, right? Aren't you? Are you? Right? I can say, hey, you're Gladys, aren't you? Right? Today's Friday, isn't it? So this aren't you, isn't it? Don't you, do you? Those are tag questions. So what
Yeah.
do tag
No,
questions
about
do?
the questions. I just get confused with the I am I, or something, how you use that. That's the only one that I have trouble sometimes.
Okay, good. So that's what we're going to analyze because now we're going to write ideas. All right. We said that we need to practice some writing. That is what we're going to do. So I don't know, please, Gladys, if you can go to Google Classroom to our class and open the file that we are using to write. Let me know if you can find it by yourself, please.
Um, yeah.
All right. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, please, you are going to do the following. These are the instructions. You're going to write a total of, and do it in the way you can. All right. Give me one idea in present. Give me one idea in past. Give me one idea in future. All right. So present, past, future. The one that we learned, remember, the present perfect. Give me one idea in present perfect. And in any model that you know, Gladys. You know, models are can, should, would, must. Those are models. Okay, and one with a model, please. So one more time. One in present, one in past, one in future, one in present perfect, and one with any model that you want to use. So we need a total of 5 sentences and try to work like this. One can be affirmative, the other one negative. One affirmative, the other one negative. I just want common sentences because we're going to work the tag questions for those sentences later on. Okay, now only the sentences. I don't know if you have questions before you can do it, Gladys.
Um, yeah. So we're not talking about tag questions, right?
Well, we're going to apply tag questions there, but first we need those examples, and then we are going to apply the tag questions to those examples.
Oh, so just any sentence,
Any
not
sentence.
with that question.
Exactly, not with tag questions, not yet. We're going to apply that later on, not now.
Okay.
Okay, so please 5
So,
again. And again, please do it affirmative, negative, so that we can work with different possibilities.
should I
All
do
right?
it writing?
Yes, do it writing, please. In the file that we have, write it over there. In the chart, you have a chart, right? You can write it any part in that chart. Okay, good. So let's have please a couple of minutes. If you finish before, let me know. If not, I'm going to stop with the timer in at least 3 to 4 minutes to see how you did it. All right, let's work on that, please, guys.
Okay. I think they are all.
Let's read those examples, please. Okay, let's read them, please, Gladys.
So I didn't go to the gym today. I spoke with my friends at work. I'm waiting to finish the semester and I have eaten a cake yesterday.
Okay, good. We're just missing one, okay, because you wrote one in the present continuous, is good. One with a model. What can you tell me using a model? And also we need future also. All right, I'm waiting to finish the
Can I
semester,
be?
yes. Okay, so one with future and one with a model, please.
Okay.
All right, there you go. So I will visit my country next year. I can play the ukulele, okay, or the ukulele. So good, you have those. Now we're going to have them there because we're going to go back to the presentation. That is a very simple one. So we know that tag questions work like this, right? It's affirmation or to show the negative answer to something that we want to verify. Now we're going to skip that part. Also this one. We're going to work with the steps. So the first step is recognizing the sentences that we have that can be affirmative or negative, right? Now, if I ask you this here, Gladys, what is the auxiliary in number one? If you have to write the tag question for number one, what would it be?
Luis like pasta, isn't it? That would be.
All right, we're going to see, but I believe we're missing something. So let's go then step by step. This is affirmative. Now, what tense is this? Is this present, past, future? What tense are we in, Gladys?
Present.
Present, right? What is the, and this is simple present, what is the auxiliary of simple present?
The auxiliary.
There's an
Um,
auxiliary that you use in negative and in questions.
does.
Good. In this case, it's does, right? So the auxiliary is do, but in this case with Luis is does because it's third person, right? That's the auxiliary. In tag questions, you have to use the auxiliary. If not, it is going to be incorrect. All right? You don't have the verb to be, so you cannot use the verb to be. If you say isn't, it is incorrect. Okay, so how
Mhm.
would it be? If you have to use the auxiliary, how would the question tag be or the tag question?
Luis likes pasta, doesn't it? Doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Exactly, and that's another rule. We have to use pronouns. We cannot use nouns, right? Proper names. We have to use pronouns. Good. In number two, what is the auxiliary in number two?
Mary didn't like that pasta. Is does too, but negative. No, in past.
It is past, and the auxiliary is actually there. You can see the auxiliary in this case.
Did?
Did. If in present is do, in past it is did. So what is the tag question in this case?
Didn't she?
Close, but the rule says it's always the opposite. If the sentence is affirmative, the tag question is negative. If the sentence is negative, the tag question is affirmative.
Oh,
All right, so how would it be?
did she?
Did she? Exactly. Didn't she? Is incorrect. And also, if you analyze, you're going to be analyzing, and perhaps knowing this, you're going to listen to the details. This is the rule. All right, always auxiliary. That is natural because in English it's natural to use auxiliaries. In Spanish we have different details, right? But in English it's the auxiliary. Now, knowing that, we can go to the next part. So you recognize the tense and you recognize the auxiliaries. Once you have that clear, you do what I told you, right? If it's affirmative, this has to be negative with a comma. If this is negative, this has to be affirmative with a comma. And after the auxiliary, you use a pronoun, right? Doesn't he, did she. Because we don't say Luis, we don't say Mary, right? So with that, we can work our examples. Before going to the next part, Gladys, let's go back to our document and please write the tag questions, okay, following that logic, Gladys, using auxiliary, affirmative, negative, negative, affirmative with pronouns. Write the tag questions and let me know when you finish that, please. Okay, it's going to be very, very fast. Let's do it and we check if everything is okay.
The tag questions from these sentences, right?
Correct.
Well, but I don't know how to write with I.
If you don't have the verb to be, you don't have to worry about I because it's the same. It's the same as the examples that you did. For example, in number one, what is the auxiliary in number one? I eat breakfast every day. What do you say? In that one, what is the auxiliary? You need that what you're telling me in number 1, 2, 3, 4. In number 4, here you're going to see the exception. So don't do number 4. I'm going to show you that. Okay, but number 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, you can do it because it's the same. It's exactly the same. There's only one exception with I. The rest of it is the same.
I just use do I?
Yes. Imagine that you're having a conversation with yourself, so that's it. Okay, but grammatically speaking, it is correct.
But should be in negative, right?
Yes. You have to see when you have to use affirmative, when you have to use a negative affirmative, but you can do it with I. Any of those work with I. Remember number 4, right? I'm waiting to finish. You don't have to do it, but we're going to see how you did it.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it really. Okay.
All right. So again, this is what we're doing, right? I don't want you to do this perfect. I'm doing this because I want to see what you don't know, all right? And in that way we can work. So remember the auxiliary. The auxiliary in present, I eat breakfast, is do, right? So it's affirmative, I eat breakfast, so you need the negative, right? So this is correct. Okay, that is good. Number 1, it is good. Number 2, we're going to try to number all of them, but I believe, yes, I'm going to do that later on, all right? But in order to make everything numbered so that we can have that reference, is better, all right? Like that. So we're good with number 1. I'm going to number 2. Number 2, what is the auxiliary of past? Did, right? How do you know in simple tenses, Gladys, the auxiliary in affirmative is not written? It is only written in negative and question words, all right? Or in question order. For example, I don't know, don't auxiliary. Do you like that? Do auxiliary. In past, the same, right? I didn't do it, didn't auxiliary. Did you do it? Did auxiliary. Okay, that's for simple tenses, simple present and simple past. Now, this is also simple past, right? Spoke. So what is auxiliary for spoke? Did. Now, this is affirmative? Yes. So here it has to be negative. So it's very good. Apostrophe. Okay, correct. So number 1, 2, and 3, they are great. Number 4, I told you, not this one because this is the exception. We're going to see the exception later on today, okay, but later on. Number 5, this is the present perfect, right, Gladys? What is the auxiliary of the present perfect? Remember, it cannot be did because did is the auxiliary of simple past, right? Did is the auxiliary of simple past. What is the auxiliary in number 5 in the present perfect? It's easy because the auxiliary in the present perfect is always there in affirmative, in negative, and in questions. The auxiliary is always there.
Have.
So what do you say? Have. It is the auxiliary. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to ask or use short answers, it has to be with have. Now, if it's affirmative, here we need negative, right? So haven't I. It's the same in the number 6, Gladys. In number 6, it's future. And with future, the auxiliary is always there in affirmative, negative, and questions. So what is the auxiliary over there?
Will.
Sorry, yes, will. It's affirmative. So what is the negative form of will?
Won't.
Won't. Exactly. So here you need won't I. Now, here it's good, but remember, if it's affirmative, this has to be negative, right? Now, there you go. Number 4, remember, this is the exception I'm going to show you now. But this is everything you have to do. You only have to be careful, Gladys, with simple present and simple past. Those are the hardest, right, tenses, because you don't write the auxiliary. But in the rest of the ideas, you always write the auxiliary. What is auxiliary with the verb to be? The verb to be. What is auxiliary in the present perfect? Have or has. In future, will. With modals, the model. Okay, so the auxiliary is always there. Now, let's go to see what you told me. This is the recommendation I told you. So let's read this first, please, before going to the exceptions, Gladys. Important. Let's read everything that you see there.
If you see the verb to be in a sentence, you don't need another auxiliary. Is, are, was, were. You were in La Paz, weren't you? You are my friend, aren't you? Simple tenses, present and past, need an auxiliary that is not writing. She likes dancing, doesn't she? Does is the auxiliary for simple present with third person. You liked the food, didn't you? Did is the auxiliary verb for the simple past.
Okay, thank you. Now, all in all, they are telling you the following. Sorry. If you see the verb to be, use the verb to be. Don't use other verbs. If you see other verbs, you have to look for the auxiliary. If you see present, do or does. If you see past, did. But if you see all the other tenses, Gladys, future, future would be going to present perfect, past perfect, models with can, everything has the model over there. All right, bless you. So let's go directly to the exceptions. These are the exceptions, Gladys. When you use imperatives, you have to use will because that's the rule. If you use suggestions with let's, you have to use shall. And if you use I with the verb to be, you have to use aren't. Okay, only when you use the verb to be. So let's read these exceptions, please, Gladys.
Do your homework, will you? Let's play poker, shall we? I'm your friend, aren't I?
Good. Those are the only exceptions that you have to know. If it's imperative, will. If it's suggestion, shall. If it's I with the verb to be, aren't. Why? Because we cannot say, am I not? It's not possible. And we don't contract am with not. So that's why we have to borrow another verb that is the conjugation for plural, are, and it's the only exception that we got over there. Okay, so if that's the logic, Gladys, how is then your sentence? Number 4. How can you complete number 4?
I'm waiting to finish the semester.
It's the exception that we saw. If you see the verb to be, Don't see anything else but the verb to be. That's the only word that we care.
Am I?
Tell me, Gladys.
Am I?
But remember, if it's affirmative, what is the exception that we learned? This is the exception. If you see the verb to be, it's affirmative. What is the negative form of the verb to be in tag questions? Aren't I? Okay, so it has to be aren't I. You're going to listen, because there are many ways to say this, Gladys, right? Or am I, they say, right? Or am I, and it's good. But if it's, the grammar rule says, if it's affirmative and if it's the verb to be, it has to be aren't. Okay, so here it's easy. If you see the verb to be, and if you see I, aren't. That's the only answer over there. All right? Aren't. Aren't I? This is the only thing that you need to pay attention to. You have I and you have am. That's everything. So for example, in this example here, I'm sorry, I don't see because of this. Okay, so now, what is the tag question here, guys?
I am going to finish it tomorrow. Iron night.
Yes, correct. Okay, and that's the only thing that you have to see. Why? Because once again, if you see this, I am affirmative, then the tag question is always going to be aren't I? Because this is one exception. All right, and again, it's because you cannot use I'm not in negative for the tag question. That's it. Now again, if you understand this, it's clear, but I want to test something. Over here, for example, I'm going to keep writing some ideas, and you tell me what is the tag question. For example, if I say this, okay, she has. Okay, let's imagine that that's my sentence. It's not the best sentence, but I want to see something. How do you form the tag question for this one?
She has a need to go there. Hasn't she?
Okay, we're going to analyze. What about here? What is the tag question for that?
She has had a great day. I'm not sure. Can be hasn't she or doesn't she?
All right. What do you say about for number 10? Is it hasn't she? Is it doesn't she?
Doesn't she?
Okay. And the last one. All right. The last one. Yes, there. What is the tag question in number 11?
She had had a surprise before you arrived. Hasn't she?
All right. Now, let's analyze. Look, your answer is always going to be next to your subject. Except when, remember the only rule, Gladys, except when it's simple present. Which of these three sentences is simple present, Gladys?
The first one.
The first one, right? So what is the rule for the first one? Remember over here, I'm going to go here and here. Here, simple tenses, present and past. The rule for simple tenses, Gladys, is that you don't see the auxiliary, but you always have to keep in mind that the auxiliaries are do and does or did. Okay, every time. You don't see, you never, you can see in some exceptions, but in 90% of the cases, you don't see the auxiliary in affirmative sentences. So if you know that the first one is simple present, then you know that this is the verb and it's not the auxiliary. So what is the auxiliary over here? That's it, right? You were doubting. So you were right. You were doubting because you felt that it can be like this. Okay, doesn't she? Now, in number 10, if it's simple present or present perfect. What do you say? What is the tense for this one?
She has had. Present perfect.
It is present perfect. And how do you know? Because you have the subject plus the auxiliary plus the verb. Here you don't have that, right? Here you have subject, verb, and then you have ideas, the need. You don't have a verb. Here, need is not a verb, right? Because you have the. So you only have one verb. So you know that this is simple present. But here you have two verbs. This is the auxiliary verb, and this is the main verb. Here you have two verbs. This is the auxiliary verb, and this is the main verb. So it's easy. When you see two verbs or two words there, Clarice, the first word is always the auxiliary. So how would it be then in number 10? What is the auxiliary over here?
Has.
Has. How do you know? Because the main verb, again, is afterwards. This is the main verb. Okay, and it happens anytime you have a tense that is not the simple tense. It's always like this, Gladys. You're going to see. So if this is the tense here, this is hasn't, right? This is hasn't because this is the verb, the auxiliary verb. Here, easy, the same order. If this is the main verb, had, then this is the auxiliary, had. So you need the negative of the auxiliary. Hasn't is present perfect. Had is past perfect, but you don't need to know that. You only need to repeat. You need to imitate and copy the same here. Okay, so copy, paste, all right, copy, paste. If it's affirmative, how do you change that to negative? And apostrophe
Had.
T, right? Exactly. And then she, okay, hadn't she? And this is past perfect, all right? So again, analyzing this is just looking at the words, Gladys, and just look at the first two or three words. There's the answer, right? So here, first two, three words, you see one verb, so it's present. Auxiliary, do, does, easy. Here, you see the auxiliary didn't, and you see go, so this is past, this is negative, did, easy. I spoke, only two verbs, so this simple tense. So it is past because of spoke. So what is the auxiliary of past? Did. I am waiting. Three words. The first word is always the auxiliary, and the second word is always the verb. So this is the auxiliary. Now you know that with am and I, this is the exception, aren't I? Here, three words, right? Eaten is the main verb. So what is the auxiliary? Have. Copy, paste, affirmative, negative, period. I will visit, three words. This is the verb, so this is the auxiliary. Will. Copy, paste, but in this case it's negative, so won't. Can, play. Play is the verb, so can is the auxiliary. Again, right? Copy, paste, negative, or copy, paste, affirmative, and that's it. Okay, so that's the only process that you have to follow, Gladys. You have to see if you have the auxiliary or not. If you don't see the auxiliary, it's a simple tense. Okay, and if you see it, just use that one. Okay, so it's going to be now speaking because again, if you have this clear, Gladys, the tenses are going to be easier to understand. Now, if I say she'll, okay, she'll travel tomorrow. She'll travel tomorrow. What is the auxiliary or what is the tag question for that? Okay, I'm using a contraction, right? She'll travel tomorrow.
Won't she?
Won't she? Exactly. It's future will. The negative of future, won't she? She'll travel tomorrow, won't she? Now, I have finished my assignments. I have finished my assignments. What's the tag question for that?
Haven't I?
Haven't I? Haven't I? Or you can say she hasn't started her homework. She hasn't started her homework. What is the tag question over there?
Hasn't she?
Close, but if it's negative, the tag question has to be affirmative.
Has
right?
she?
Has she? Exactly. She hasn't finished her homework. Has she? Right? The last two, all right? The last two. If I say, he went to the party 2 weeks ago. He went to the party 2 weeks ago. What is the tag question there?
Did he?
But if he went, if it's affirmative, the tag question has to be negative.
Negative.
So
Didn't he?
didn't he? All right. And the last one, she should, I don't know, drink more water. She should drink more water. What is the tag question for that
Shouldn't she?
one? Shouldn't she? And that's it. All right. Again, with that, we're finishing the lesson, Gladys. But the tag questions are an interesting way to practice tenses, because if you understand that this is the auxiliary and you have to repeat it here, then you know what tense you are in. If this is the auxiliary, it has to be here in the opposite way, right? The same here and the same above. So let me know, please. It's important to know if you have questions now. Let me know your questions or let me know your comments, please, Gladys.
Okay. No questions, just practice that.
Okay,
Just
good.
practice that.
All right. So it means that we have this one, and you're right, we're going to be practicing. So let's go to the next part to try to cover one more detail, because today we have to finish this. That is very its own rules. And let's wait. Okay, so what do you know about infinitives? Do you know that word? Do you know what it is?
Yeah. The verbs, what did you put before the verb to?
Good, that's great. When do you use infinitives, Gladys? Why do you need infinitives and when do you use them?
I don't really know. I just use it sometimes.
Okay, and give me one example. If you can, because we can use infinitives a lot, right? What example can you give me using infinitives? Just one.
Um, I would like to go to Spain with my friends.
All right. So there you're using to go. What is before to go?
A verb.
A verb, right? So again, I'm showing you that because here again, the intention of these presentations is to make you aware of when you have to use certain structures. Again, you have the practice there because you are already in the United States, as you told me. So you have everything there, but to structure write your ideas in a better way, you want to also practice, of course, speaking as you told me, and we're going to do it. But we need to have this clear. Now, there are these four ways, and this is going to be just speaking. All right. Now, we can use it as a subject. All right, but this is very, very formal and this is not common. So I don't want to practice this because it's something that we are not going to use a lot. It's better to use another form of the verb that is the gerund. We're going to see that later on. But this is important after specific verbs. Read that list of verbs, please. This one over here. Those are the ones that you're going to be using with infinitives. Some of them. Let's read that list, please.
Afford, agree, decide, have, be obligated, hope, learn, manage, need, prepare, refuse, want.
Great. Now, after those verbs, you have to use infinitive. Okay? I mean, if you want to use a verb, it has to be in infinitive. All right? Like in the examples, he agrees to do, we have to study, she wants to buy, I was prepared to take, Peter needed to read. Right? So we use infinitive after these words. So let's try to use some of them. All right. And I'm going to make you practice the one that you told me you're not sure about, the present perfect. So, agree. What example can you give me in the present perfect with agree, and after agree, you use an infinitive? So, what do you say?
With agree,
Yes, agree.
I am agree with to work with her.
One more time, please. There are some details we have to improve. One more time.
I agree to work with her.
Okay, but let's remember it has to be in present perfect, right? With have or has.
Um, I have agreed.
With ed, right? I have agreed
I have agreed to work with her.
to work with her. Yes, I've agreed to work with her. That is correct. How would it be in third person? Tell me the same idea with she, please.
I oh
No, with she.
in
The
third
the
person.
the subject is going to be
Oh,
with the person in present.
she has agreed to work with me.
Yes. Uh-huh. Now decide. Okay? Decide. The same. Try to use different ideas. So also in the present perfect. Okay, we're going to practice the present perfect to make you feel comfortable with that.
I have decided to dance.
Uh-huh. Just be careful, right? If you only say I have decided, that's like only decide in the base form, right? It's better if you say I have decided to dance, right? Because it has to be in the past participle, right? She has agreed to go with me. We have decided to start tomorrow, for example, right? So
Mhm.
if it's ed, you have to make that noise. So the same, please, but let's use also third person. It can be with he or any all right man's name.
With agree
With the side.
or with decide. In third person.
Sorry, yes,
So
please.
I couldn't hear you because of the signal.
Okay, don't worry. Yes, in third person, please.
Okay. She has decided to buy.
Remember the pronunciation, the side.
Decided.
Uh-huh.
She has decided to buy some stuff.
It's great. She has decided to buy some stuff. What about have? Have. Any sentence that you want in the present perfect.
I have had. I have had to go to the pool.
Great. Uh-huh. I've had to go to the pool. And the last one, manage, please. Manage. Any sentence that you want in the present perfect.
Mm, I have managed the local store.
But remember, you have to use infinitive after manage. The sentence is
Oh,
correct, but to practice infinitive,
I have
infinitive after.
managed.
Mhm.
I have managed. I have managed to manage. I have managed to go. No, I don't know how to use it.
All right, manage as a verb with infinitive, it means that you've done some things so that something else is possible, right? So you can say, hey, look, I managed to get permission. All right, it means I did many things to get permission. All right, that's managed to do something. It means that you looked for alternatives, you looked for possibilities to get what you wanted. All right, one example also can be, hey, I don't know how, but I managed to get home. All right, I managed to get home. It means I don't know what I did, but I was able to get home. All right, so again, if you use manage with infinitive, it means again that you did things that you perhaps wouldn't expect that you had done, but you did it in order to achieve something. Okay, the idea of manage in this way is to do some things to achieve something that you want. All right, and one last example could be they managed to be on time even though, right, they left their homes late. Okay, so they managed to be here on time even though they, right, left their houses late. Okay, so again, they did some things in order to achieve something else. So with that said, what example can you give me, Gladys, using manage? What is something related to that? Or if perhaps it was not clear, also you can ask me if you want.
She has managed to do some cookies today.
Yes, all right. And again, if you need, I'm not going to, right, like the video, right? I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to write it. All right, so it's like these ones. That is manage to do something. It's in the chat. All right.
Mm,
So that is. So I managed to get here on time. I don't know what I did, but I managed to do it. Right? And anything related to that idea, it's going to be with manage. All right? Now, that's it. That's the first part. Or let me see what time it is. Good. We have the time to finish the lesson. The next one, Gladys, is this. You can use verbs like need, expect, persuade, and want plus a pronoun or noun plus infinitive. Very easy, right? You can say, hey, Gladys, I need you to go to Google Classroom and open the file, right? I need you to do this. So that's an example, right? Or you can say, my family expects me to be the best student in my class, right? My family expects me to be the best student, right, in my class. And like that, when you have a person or a group needing, expecting, persuading, or wanting someone else to do something for them. All right, so following, actually, let's first read the examples. Only the examples, please, Gladys. Starting from she needs.
She needs you to help her. They expected him to be on time. He no, we persuade her to sing tonight. John wants them to speak Chinese in class.
Good. So, if I ask you this, Gladys, what do you want me to do? How can you answer that? What do you want me to do?
If you ask me that,
How can you answer that question? What do you want me to do?
I want you to teach me English.
Yes. I want you to teach me English. Right? Yes. Good. What's something that you need anybody to do for you, Gladys? What is something that you need anybody to do for you?
Mm, I want them to. I want them to cook for me.
Okay, yes, I want them to cook for me. This can be interesting. Yes, what does your family expect you to be or to do? What does your family expect you to be or to do, Gladys?
They expect they expect me to be a professional.
Great. They expect you to be a professional. Very good.
Is that
Uh,
okay? Say they expect me.
yes, they expect
Okay.
you because it's they and expect is not conjugated, it's only base form. And if this is present, it has to be like that. But of course, you can say that in past, right? You can say, when I was a child, my family expected me to be, I don't know, or to learn the piano. Okay, when I was a child, my family expected me to learn the piano. All right, so it depends on the tense you want to use, but it's valid. Okay, so need someone to do, expect someone to do, persuade someone to do, want someone to do. All right, and this is very common. It's something that you can use. I don't know if you use this structure, Gladys. Let me know, please. Have you used this structure before? How often do you use it?
This one?
Yes.
No, I have not used it. I just sometimes I just speak because it sounds good,
All right, good. But
not
now you
use
know,
anything. But now I know.
great. And you can do it in many contexts. And it's not that, but you have to clarify that this is something that you're asking someone, right? So again, you can say, hey, please, if you add please, it's great, right? So you can say, hey, please, I need you to help me with this, right? Please, I need you to help me with this. Please, I want you to go there and get something for me, right? Please, I need you to go there 2 blocks, right? Right, go straight 2 blocks, please. And someone is waiting there. I need you to get that for me, please. I cannot move from here because I'm doing something very important, right? And again, right, you can play with the alternatives, Gladys, but it's a very interesting structure that you can use a lot in conversation and also in your tests if you want. Now, to finish, purpose. Purpose means reason for something, right? It means in order to. So, for example, if I ask you, why are you learning English? You can say, I'm learning English in order to take the TOEFL and, or in order to pass the TOEFL, right? Or to take the TOEFL. Or I'm learning English in order to travel to the United States. So, in order to means with this purpose, right? With this purpose. And it's very formal and it's a good idea that you learn how to use it well, Gladys, because you can apply it in any formal context. Read the examples, please, and read what's in parentheses, like this, right? I have to study in order to pass the course. Let's read that, please. All the examples.
I have to study in order to pass the course. She does exercise in order to feel better. They came here in order to buy a house. We have to live in order to be happy.
Great. So, for example, Gladys, do you go to the gym?
Yep.
Okay, you go to the gym. So, why do you go to the gym? Try to answer using this structure, right? I go to the gym in order to, and give me the reason, the
I
purpose of
go
going.
to the gym in order to be more healthy.
More healthy is not bad, but remember the best option is always healthier, to be healthier,
To be healthier.
healthier. Exactly, right? With ER at the end, healthier. Good. Now, you're studying English, right? And you told me about it, but try to give me a different reason. Why are you studying English?
I was studying English in order to enter to the university.
Okay, good. And the last one, all right. Why did you decide, okay, why did you decide to go to the US?
I decided to go to the US in order to be prepared for an exam.
Okay, good. Decided over there, right? Because it's past good. So you decided to go to the US because you want to be right, ready, prepared for something specific that can be a test or to get into college, as you were mentioning. So good. That is great. With that, we're finishing today, mainly because of the time and also because with this, we finished the presentation. Here we
Okay.
have a
Can
list
I
of,
can I see
tell
the
me,
others?
yeah,
The
you
other
want to see the
reasons.
previous ones?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm just gonna take a picture of it.
Yes, and remember that you have everything, right? Just in case, remember that you have all the presentations for you, and you can download the
Where?
presentations in the platform. Okay, they are all in the
Check
platform. Remember
person.
that I introduced you to Google Classroom? A
I check it
classroom, Google
person, but
Classroom.
oh yeah, but I already checked it person, and I don't really understand where what I need to go or what are the exercises stuff like that.
On Pearson?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you. But first, let me show you where the presentations are. So you go to Google Classroom, right? You're here. And remember, you have to go and do this. You first need to go here, right? Classwork. You open that and you scroll down. All right. Again, I'm marking this just in case. You go down and you see unit one. In unit one, you have lesson one, and this is the first presentation. Okay, you open it and you
Mm,
have all the presentations that I use here
okay, I
are
see.
here. Okay, you can take a look at that. Okay, that's for the presentations. Now, I don't know if you have questions about this before going to Pearson.
No, that's all.
Okay, now in Pearson, give me a second, it's going to take some time. You have to go to the section assignments. Okay, you have to go to assignments, always to assignments. So imagine this is your username, right? So, give me 1 second. This is yours. You open the product and you always look for assignments in Gladys. Everything that you have to complete is in assignments. Okay, here. You have to go there, always there. And if you go there, you see a list of assignments, a long list of assignments that you have to complete. You only open that. Okay, for example, you can open one of them here. Just click there. All right, click, and you're going to see your assignment. Now, as I'm with the teacher's perspective, I'm going to see
It
something
said
else.
model. Well, I put assignments.
Yes, tell me, Gladys, so you're in assignments. Do you see all the assignments over there?
Yeah, but then it said A1 learning objectives, and then the model A1 unit summary.
You have to open that. Those are the assignments. Open that, read.
Oh,
Sometimes you only read, you finish. Sometimes you have
okay.
questions you have to
How many
complete.
assignments do I need to do, like, until when?
And remember, right? We said that you have to complete all those assignments that you see there, okay? All of them. And you have, remember, 8 classes, right? So we started yesterday with, we started this week, it was
It's like
complete with you.
one model per day.
Yeah, you have 2 days per unit, okay? You should have, for example, we started on Monday. So it was Monday and Tuesday for Unit 1. Then Wednesday, today, and tomorrow, Thursday, for Unit 2. Right? It can be then Friday and Monday. Monday
But
is holiday.
all here are unit 1, like model A, A1, all of these are 1.
Yeah, but if you go down below, you're going to see then B. Okay, but everything is Model A. And in Model A, you have A 4 units, Gladys.
I need to do all this by May 4
Let me verify. We agreed that
because
it was going to be, no, it's
it
for
said then model
Wednesday.
A, A3,
Yes,
but it
everything
didn't
that
say
is
B.
there, everything, absolutely everything that is there is for 8 days. So it means for Wednesday the 5th, next week. Okay, for next week. No, yes, sorry, the 4th. It's May the 4th. You're right. May the 4th. You have until Thursday 4th to complete all that, right? That's why I told you it's something that you have to do little by little. If
Too
not,
much.
you're, yes, it's a lot. But remember, you start exploring. Some of them are just reading something very short. Some of them are going to be 1 minute of listening, and you have to answer 3 questions, 4 questions. That's it.
Oh,
You go to the
all
next
right.
one, okay? But again, even though it's like that, if you do everything in the last 3 days, you are not going to finish. Okay, it happened many times. You have to start now. Okay, if you haven't started yet, you have to start today if you want to finish everything, and if you don't want to work for 1 hour or something like that. Okay, just 15 to 20 minutes, and you should be able to finish all those assignments. But everything that is there, everything is to finish. A well, okay, it's due to next week. And to be sure that you're completing only your assignments, Gladys, be sure that you select the course. And remember that you have to select the course A10, A9, A12, it says for you, right? And it's April 24th. So it says 810, 811, 812, 24 April 2023, and my name. Okay, if that's the course that you're seeing and you see all those assignments there, then you have to complete all those ones over
Okay.
there. All right.
Sounds
So
good.
again, all right. I know it's a lot. I know it can be a challenge. It's also exhausting. All right. But it's a way that the program gives to make you practice and to be sure that you're going to have all the elements that you need to pass the course. Okay. So let's make that effort, and you're going to see that together we're going to do it. That's it. I don't know if you
Okay.
have any final questions to finish now.
Well, no, I don't have.
All right. So let's please fill out the survey. You see the questions there.
Mm-hmm.
You finish that, and that's it. All right. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next class at the usual time, right?
Okay.
Good. Good night then.
Thank
See you tomorrow.
you.